You've waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
And good Saturday morning, everyone. I'm Patty Pyburn. I am in for the vacationing Randall White. He is taking some much-deserved time off, and at this moment, he's in Wisconsin. We're going to hear from him a little bit later. Right now, it is time to hear insight from the best of the best, the gurus of bargains, the luminaries of budget travel. This week, we are hearing from our local go-to travel agent, Mr. Brant Myers, with Gulliver's Travel right here in San Luis Obispo. Welcome back, Brant. We're always glad to have you here because you are a wealth of travel knowledge, and today you are talking about 2 wonderful trips.
That's right. Thanks for having me back. Pretty excited. We always try to expand what a traveler considers a vacation or a trip, and really looking to maximize your time. You don't want to just fly somewhere and hang out. We want you to kind of think out of the box. So our travel agency is pretty good at putting together a few annual trips a year where we get a good group together, we get good rate for our travelers, and we're able to really customize something that would appeal to especially people in the Central Coast, eating, drinking, and exploring. Right up your alley.
Perfect. And you know what, Brant? What I like about your advice is that you are so well-traveled yourself. So when we're hearing from you, we know that you've been there, done that.
Learn from my mistakes and take my knowledge with you. Absolutely. We're always more than happy to share what we've learned.
All right. Trip number 1. What do you have for us?
This is actually a trip that organized by one of our owners, Ingrid English, and she's pretty well known throughout the community, and she does these amazing trips. And this year next year, she's doing in May, she's doing a trip in Portugal. It's a river cruise with one of the leading river cruise lines called UniWorld. And they won Condé Nast Travel and Leisure Awards. They're constantly recognized as one of the best of the best. And this one takes you through the Douro Valley aboard a boat. It's about 130 cabins. There's a few left, so by all means, let us know if you'd like to. And best part about this is a feature where her husband is part of Cafe Musique, and it's a San Luis Obispo's premier gypsy band, and they not only are on board with you, but they play every night, and you're cruising through wine country in Portugal on a beautiful river aboard a beautiful boat, listening to this gypsy music.
How cool is that? You're traveling with a band of gypsies entertaining you with live music.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. So that's that's something that you wouldn't really get that these
You're
groups
right.
kind of offer.
That is definitely a unique travel experience.
Mm-hmm. And, she's done it before. And again, you can't go wrong with this UniWorld cruise. And we've sent people all over the place in Europe. One of those things that you just don't realize until you hear about it. Cruising the Danube, going along the Rhine, you can go from Amsterdam out to the Middle East on a river. So really cool stuff out there. And this is one of the, beautiful undiscovered places. Nobody really thinks of Portugal, but really starts in Salamanca. You start in Spain, beautiful golden city, and it ends up in Porto where you can have port. Can't go wrong. Going through wine country, they source local foods and fruits from the farmer's market at every port. So you're getting a flavor of the place as well as local wines and really just experiencing it as it should be experienced.
Now, that just sounds amazing. Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you. Logistics, how soon would someone have to book this trip to get one of those remaining spots, and what's the price range we're talking about?
Well, that's a good question. They've been slowly filling up through word of mouth. Definitely have a few cabins as far as sooner the better. They're not going to be there if they're not there, so you can't do much about that. Price range, it starts at $3,800, and that's the cruise and a little land tour. You can do an extra 3 days in Lisbon, and she just got back from Morocco, and she's doing a pre-tour, 12 days in Morocco, exploring all the beauty of Morocco. So, you're right there. You already made the flight. That money's out of the way.
So you can do a little extended travel and maximize your time.
Absolutely. That's why I feel about flights. You pay the money for the flight. You're already there. You might as well explore it to the maximum potential. And that little, side trip to Casablanca, and, you can't go wrong there. Jump on a boat, live in a lap of luxury.
So having done just a little bit of traveling, not nearly as much traveling as you have, Brant, I know the benefit of traveling with people who have some know-how and some confidence and experience. It really can make your travel totally different than if you're there and you're just kind of figuring it out yourself. So that really is worth a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Having that person that's on the ground and that's done it before and just knows, you learn from their mistakes because they've been there, they've seen it. They might have stayed at a hotel they would never go to, or they might have stayed at the best hotel last time, and they just want everybody to experience it. And that's really what it's all about.
You can take advantage of that knowledge. Okay. So trip number 2, what do you have for us?
Trip number two is the one I put together. It's right up my alley. And I think a lot of people around here will enjoy it as well. It's a bike tour of Belgium. And it's called the
Okay.
Belgian Bike Beer Tour. So
I like that.
the three
Bikes,
Bs.
bikes and beer.
It sounds dangerous, but it's really casual. You go through Belgium, Flanders region, Wallonia, and even dip into the French Pyrenees for a bit. I'm sorry, not the French Pyrenees. That's way off. But that's another trip I'm thinking about.
Wait, we're getting sidetracked here.
Exactly. So I'm a beer lover myself, and Belgium is just a kind of the motherland of good beers and stuff that you just can't get here, or if you can, it's going to be not as good as if you're in the brewery watching monks brew it. So it's about a 9-day tour, and you get a good solid hybrid bike. It's not a mountain bike, it's not a road bike. Very good pace, enough biking, but not so much that you feel like you're biking at the end of the day. About 10 miles a day, and you just go from little inns and beds and breakfasts, and you have a personal guided tour that they get you access to these breweries, they get you into these restaurants, and you get to experience some of the best beers in the world while riding around. And the intimacy of being on a bicycle is same with the river cruise. It's that slow pace. You get to see a little bit more. You're not just zooming by on a train or flying over something on your way to the next city. You get to experience it, and being able to kind of experience it as it was built. These towns weren't built for cars. They weren't built for trains. They were built for walking and pedestrians, and being on a bike is just a fun way to do it. And who doesn't want a couple beers and jump on a cobblestone road and ride around to the next brewery? It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, so I agree with you. Seeing it on a bike is a totally different experience. You're just right there, and you're going to have more interaction with the people. You're going to see it in a different way. We years ago did a car trip through several places in Europe, and that's another way. I think a bike is even more so, but you just get a different flavor because you're not on that typical tourist track, right?
Absolutely. That's definitely one thing that sets it apart, is that you don't get to be stuck in these large city centers. You're not at transportation hubs. You're going out of the way. You're interacting more with the locals. You're seeing countryside, and you're seeing stuff that you just can't see based on the new transportation technology. So that way you get to experience what it should be, and you really have that feeling of being there as opposed to just traveling through a place.
Okay, so on this trip, again, logistically speaking, when would someone want to book this? When's it happening, and what's our price range?
Well, I'm doing this in fall. It's the best time of year to travel is September, and doing it fall of next year. And the price range, it's actually pretty reasonable because it's bicycles, so you don't have to worry about the cruise ship. And it's $2,000 per person, and you're staying at these beautiful little quaint bed and breakfast, so it's all taken care of. You're having beer pairings and dinner served by locals every night, and it's a really fun way. And that's 8 or 9 days. It's not too bad.
Wow, that sounds really reasonable. $2,000. Now, do you have to buy airfare in addition to that, or
Yes.
so in addition to that you get your airfare, but that includes the tour, the bicycle, and all of that?
Exactly. And if you buy this far in advance, the airfare is pretty reasonable if you plan ahead. And the whole trip in a whole, about a week and a half for $3,500, including all your spending money, not a bad way to be.
And Brant's the man to find you the deal on the airfare if you are signing up for the bike and beer tour.
Absolutely. We're
Bike
full service.
Beers Belgium. What could be better? And I like the alliteration. So really quickly, I'm heading off to Europe on Wednesday. Half of the trip is a guided, organized tour. It's part of a school trip. Then we're heading up to the northern part of Spain, to, Santiago. Do you have any tips for me while I'm there?
Oh, just enjoy the local flavor. It's beautiful. It's Mediterranean at its best. So sit out, enjoy the sunshine, get yourself some sangria, and eat as much as possible. Spain's an amazing place to be.
I like this advice. Tell me more. Drink, eat. It's great. We're going to be, my aunt actually lives there in Pontevedra in an old stone house that was actually part like a barn and stables and stuff. They've converted into a home. So I haven't seen it before, so it's going to be fun. Have you been to that area?
I've been as far north as Madrid, and I went the southern route. I wanted to go to the beautiful Costa Blanca and check out the Mediterranean. But I've heard it's beautiful, and I know even the Catalonia region is amazing.
I'll let you know when I come back.
Please do.
I'll have an update for you. Maybe you can plan a trip there next. Okay, Brant Myers with Gulliver's Travel in San Luis Obispo. He is our local travel expert. I love those trips. They sound really fascinating. I'm sitting here thinking, what am I doing next September? $2,000 bike, beer, Belgium. Yeah, Anthony, our producer, and the wheels are turning in his head. He's thinking the same thing. Can we be part of this?
Who doesn't want to go?
All right. This hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio brought to you by Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch. Dine under the oaks, surrounded by the beautiful rolling green hills